What up, Skratch School? It's your boy Skratch Bastid down here in the lab. It's a little messy because I got these projects going on right now, making routines, making videos, making beats, all this kind of good stuff. But today I got a question from someone at Skratch School, and we get a lot of questions at Skratch School, which is good. It's all about learning and everything. Sometimes I answer them personally, and sometimes I answer them on the forum. But I'm gonna start answering certain questions by video because I think that why answer it numerous times when I can answer it once and create, an archive of answers to common questions or interesting questions that you guys arise. And trust me, there's always questions in DJing, and there's lots of stuff to share, right down to the nitty gritty, right down to really specific stuff. And I'd love to share it. So this one today, this question comes from Dana Walters. Dana says, I recently purchased the Rane 12 and 72 system, this one, and I am wondering if the stock slip mats and disc setup is correct for scratching. It seems like the discs drag when I try to scratch, like I can't do a backspin with 1200s. It doesn't sound like I can do when I do a backspin on the 1200s. The movement with the Rane 12 discs is slow feeling. Any tips or alterations that might need to be done to use them more effectively? Well, I do actually have a tip for you there. Now, there are two generations of control vinyl on the Rane 12. The first one involved a screwdriver and a screw hole in the centerpiece. Now, the way that the control vinyl connects to the Rane 12s or latches on to the Rane 12s is through a slot, and I'll show you once I take this record off. It's about a 1 centimeter or like an 1/8 inch slot that holds sort of a tooth, basically the end of what the screw that you're screwing in here. It holds it in a slot. When you tighten it all the way, the record is firmly attached to the spindle, and that's how it reads your movements. It's actually a controller that's shaped like vinyl. It's pretty cool technology. Now, if you're getting a lot of resistance, the chances are the resistance is coming between the control vinyl and your slip mat. Now, I've got mine screwed in pretty tight right there, right now, and what I've got here is about a sort of like naturally feeling like a, I don't know, like a half rotation when I spin it back. It's actually not that bad, but I have been on ones that feel a lot tighter than that, and this is the problem. What you've got to do is once it's screwed in the slot, you got to make sure it's in the slot first of all. That's kind of a tricky thing. Once it's in there and it's screwed all the way, what you'll want to do is take your screwdriver and put it in that screw hole there and crank it back, even just like a half rotation. Get it moving. Now see how it's moving a bit? What you want to do is move it, and you just want to adjust it so that it's a little bit more up. And what you can do is hold the side of the record or basically pull it up and let it kind of fall a little bit naturally. And once it's there, you can tighten it again. But what you're doing is you're creating, this is a little tough, especially holding the camera. But what you're doing is just lightening the resistance between that control vinyl and the slip mat, and it's gonna, now when I spin it back now, it's got more of like almost like a, I don't know, almost a full rotation, just doing less with that. And to me it feels lighter. It's not really like dragging and picking up. Again, all of these things are a personal feel thing. Some people like really slippy slip mats, some people like tighter slip mats, some people somewhere in between. I mean, I'm a bit of an in-between person. I don't want it flying 2 or 3 rotations, but you could, if you wanted to. What you would do is kind of continue this idea, and again, probably with 2 hands because it's hard for me to do holding this camera, to adjust the tooth on that spindle so that it's held up. Basically, what you're doing is just minimizing the resistance between this held down control vinyl and the slip mat. So that's that. Again, that's the first generation of Rane 12s. The current generation is, if you can see right on the K of Skratch Bastid there, it's got this little little button there, and then inside you can see that it's got that little, that's that little screw, what I'm screwing in there. Now they've made it a quick release button that's so much easier to work with. If you've got one of those and you're trying to fix the resistance, it's pretty straightforward as well. I find that the quick release button doesn't hold as tightly to the spindle slot. So you basically, it kind of moves up and down, and what you can do is adjust it quickly basically by pushing it in and letting it come out, letting it come up a little bit in the slot. And as soon as I get this screw off the Rane 12, I'll show you a little more in person, the quick release. This is why they invented the quick release, so you didn't have to do this during your gig, but yeah. Let's see, okay, almost off. Maybe one more rotation, hold on. Okay. How you guys doing today? Anyone got the Jeopardy music on cue? Alex Trebek, big shouts out, Canadian content. Okay, there we go. So that's off. Now with the quick release, it's a much easier thing to do. I find it easy to put this, you see, there's that slot right there. If you can see that slot, oops. You can see that slot right there. Now there's the spindle slot. So what I like to do when I attach, well, any of them, the screw or the quick release, is put that slot at 6 o'clock down. Because sometimes it's a little hard to line up the screw that goes into the slot. But if it's at 6 o'clock, then you know it's going to be, the slot's going to be pointing down there. So then you put the quick release. Now the screw inside is opposite the quick release button. So if you put the button at 12, then the screw is going in directly below it at 6 p.m. We like to deal with the clockwise. So you put that on top of it like this with that quick release tab on the top, put it over, and I heard it go click, and it's in there. Now with this, you can feel it. Basically, you can see that how that's moving up and down, because that's basically moving within the slot. Now the quick release, because it's not screwed in tight, has that that flexibility to move up and down the slot. So if you are experiencing too much resistance with that, what I just recommend doing is grabbing it like this, not pushing into the quick release button. Well, you could, but you might risk actually coming out of the slot. But you can just kind of move it up and down a little and basically pull it up. And now there we've got, well, I gotta get that going. We've got like almost like 1 and a bit rotation pretty easily there. If I were to push down here a bit more, you're gonna see that it's, yeah, see that now that's like kind of like quarter resistance. That's a way, not enough resistance for me, or too much resistance for me, not enough backspin for me. So if you pull up on it, stop it there, pull up on it a bit, you create a bit of space there, and then you got much more spin. And I found that during sets, just that one pull at the beginning is typically enough, but if for some reason you're getting more resistance, pull it up on that slot a bit more, maybe mid-set, just kind of casually. Yeah, that's the advice I have for the Rane 12 resistance. Again, different slip mats are going to work different ways. I recommend butter rugs. They've got that nice underside and the soft top, or just like a piece of felt, but nothing too thick. And again, it's really a personal thing. So you might want to try some out or ask other DJs here on the forum, etc., what they use. I use butter rugs and these custom ones from Kingdom Element in Peru that homie hooked me up with there. Big shouts out to Kingdom Element. Find the ones that work for you and share. That's it. This is a good little session on the Rane 12s. Thank you, Dana, for the question. More questions, hit me. Let's share the knowledge. Skratch School. Peace.